I spent 5 years meticulously caring for my paralyzed husband, until I caught him bringing another woman home. Only then did I realize his coldness was a lie. I left without looking back, but the bastard fell apart. I had spent 5 years caring for Lu Zian, who was paralyzed in bed, attending to his every need, giving up a full scholarship to MIT and dedicating all my talents to his company until that stormy night when I came home early to pick up documents and found him holding Jiang Ruowei in front of the master bedroom's floor-to-ceiling window. I didn't cry or make a scene, I just quietly pressed the record button on my phone. Everyone thought I would crumble, but only I knew that from that moment on, his company Xingmai Medical was doomed. It was a Friday. I was supposed to be working late in the lab until midnight, but my assistant called and said an important set of RAND data had been left in the home study needed first thing the next morning. I checked the time, 11 p.m. It was just enough time to drive back and get it. Outside, a downpour was lashing against the car windows. I gripped the steering wheel, my mind still on the clinical trial data for the neural repair device. Over those 5 years, I had poured almost all my time into work and caring for Lu Zian. 5 years ago, he was in a severe car accident. Doctors said he might be paralyzed for life. Xingmai Medical had been founded only 2 years earlier. At its most vulnerable point, everyone urged me to leave, saying that as a promising PhD, I shouldn't waste my life on a paralyzed man. But I didn't listen. I remembered how Lu Zian had helped me during my toughest time in college. He spoke of his dream to create China's own high-end medical devices, so more patients could afford good treatment. Inspired by his vision, I gave up my opportunity to study abroad and stayed by his side for 5 years. I managed his daily care while leading the company's RAND. Every morning at 6 I got up to clean him, feed him, do his rehab exercises, then went to work. Nights, I returned to handle his personal care, often not getting to bed until 1 or 2 in the morning. I never complained. I kept believing that with a little more persistence he would recover, and our company would get on track. Then everything would be fine. We would marry and live an ordinary life. The car drove through the gates of Xingmai Villa. The security guard saw it was me and raised the barrier without hesitation. The entire villa was silent, with only a small lamp lit in the living room. I tiptoed inside, afraid of waking Lu Zian and butler Qin, who had already gone to bed. Just as I was about to head upstairs to the study, I heard a woman's laughter coming from the master bedroom. My footsteps halted. The master bedroom belongs to Lu Zian. Since he has difficulty moving around, I've been sleeping in the guest room next door. Why would there be a woman in his room at this hour? A sense of foreboding rose in my heart. I softened my steps even more and slowly approached the master bedroom door. It wasn't fully closed, leaving a crack. Through that crack, I saw something I will never forget for the rest of my life. Lu Zian stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, his back to me. In his arms was a woman, Jiang Ruowei, the marketing director of Xingmai Medical. She was wearing my silk robe, nestling against him, tracing circles on his chest with her finger. Zian, when will Su Yang finally find out the truth? I can't wait any longer, Jiang Ruowei said, her voice coquettish. Lu Zian lowered his head and kissed her forehead, his tone indulgent. What's the hurry? Wait until we've fully transferred the nerve repair device patent to the company's name, then we can kick her out. She's still useful for the next 5 years. Without her, the company's RAND can't move forward. But I hate watching her fuss over you every day. She actually believes you're paralyzed and can't do without her. She's just a fool, Lu Zian sneered. Back when I had my car accident, the company was almost taken over by those old shareholders. I pretended to be paralyzed on purpose to make her work for me wholeheartedly. Look, in 5 years, she's not only run the company smoothly but also developed the nerve repair device, our cash cow. Once we have the patent, I'll divorce her and marry you. So when will you tell her? I don't want to sneak around anymore. Soon, at next month's board meeting, I'll announce that you'll take over the nerve repair device project. Once the project stabilizes, I'll find a reason to divorce her. Without me, she's nothing. I stood outside the door, my whole body cold, as if I had fallen into an ice cellar. So he had long since recovered. So the 5 years of meticulous care had been nothing but a carefully orchestrated deception. So all my efforts, in his eyes, were merely useful. What I thought was deep affection was just a tool he used. What I thought was a dream was just his way of making money. My hands clenched involuntarily, my nails digging deep into my palms, sending a sharp sting through me. But that pain was nothing compared to even a fraction of what I felt inside. I didn't rush in to confront him, nor did I cry silently. I took out my phone and pressed the record button, capturing every word of their conversation. Then I turned around and quietly walked down the stairs. Butler Chin heard the commotion and came out of the kitchen. Upon seeing me, a flash of panic crossed his face. "Miss Su, why are you back?" I looked at him, this elderly man who had watched Lu Xian grow up and had been helping him hide the truth for the past 5 years every day. He prepared rehabilitation medicine for Lu Xian, which was actually just ordinary vitamins every day. He massaged Lu Xian, but it was merely for show. I didn't say a word, only gave him a deep look. That look carried all my disappointment and anger. Butler Chin lowered his head, not daring to meet my eyes again. I walked to the entrance and picked up my suitcase. In fact, I had packed it long ago and left it there just in case. I just never expected that this day would come so soon. So suddenly, pulling the suitcase behind me, I walked out of the villa where I had lived for 5 years. It was still raining outside. The cold rain hit my face and mixed with my tears as they fell. I looked up at the light in the master bedroom on the 2nd floor, the place I had once called home. Now it only filled me with disgust. I got into my car and started the engine. In the rearview mirror, that luxurious villa grew smaller and smaller, finally disappearing into the rain. I took a deep breath and wiped the tears from my face. "Lu Xian, what you owe me, I will take back, piece by piece." At 7 the next morning, I appeared in the dining room of Xingmai Villa on time. Butler Chin had already prepared breakfast. When he saw me, his expression grew even more strained. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but in the end remained silent. As usual, I walked to the table and sat down. Lu Xian was already seated in his wheelchair, dressed in loungewear, his face bearing its usual coldness. Jiang Ruowei was there too, sitting beside him in the same clothes she had worn the day before, a provocative smile on her face. "Yang, where did you go last night? Why didn't you come home?" Lu Xian's tone carried a hint of reproach, as if my staying out overnight was a grave mistake. I picked up my spoon, slowly took a sip of porridge and did not answer him. "Xian asked you a question, why aren't you answering?" Jiang Ruowei cut in, her voice sharp. "Su Yang, you're getting more and more out of line. Xian is unwell and needs care. How could you just stay out all night?" I looked up at her, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. "Since when is it your place to interrupt when I'm speaking to Xian?" Jiang Ruowei's face changed instantly. She turned to Lu Xian with a pitiful look. "Xian, look at her." Lu Xian frowned and looked at me. "Su Yang, what kind of tone is that? Ruowei is a guest I invited. Be more respectful." "Guest?" I set down my spoon and looked at Lu Xian. "What kind of guest? Wears the host's bathrobe and spends the night in the host's bedroom." Lu Xian's face darkened instantly. Jiang Ruowei's complexion flushed and paled by turns as she awkwardly lowered her head. "Su Yang, don't be unreasonable." Lu Xian's voice carried a warning. "Ruowei worked late last night and it was pouring rain outside, so I let her stay in the guest room for the night." "Guest room?" I laughed. "Is that so? Then where did that bathrobe come from? Since when does our guest room have my silk bathrobe?" Lu Xian was momentarily speechless, his expression turning even uglier. "Enough." He suddenly slammed the table. "Su Yang, what exactly do you want? I know you've been under a lot of work pressure lately, but that doesn't give you the right to act so unreasonably." "Am I being unreasonable?" I looked at him, my eyes cold. "Lu Xian, I've taken care of you for 5 years. For 5 years, I got up at 6 every morning to wipe you down, feed you, and do your rehabilitation exercises. When I came home at night, I had to bathe you and give you massages, often working until the early hours before I could sleep. I gave up a full scholarship to MIT and the chance to study abroad. I dedicated all my youth and talent to you and your company. I thought you were truly paralyzed, that you couldn't live without me, but I never expected that you've been fine for a long time and have just been putting on an act to deceive me." Lu Xian's face turned deathly pale. He snapped his head toward Butler Chin. Butler Chin lowered his head and dared not speak. You know everything." Lu Xian's voice carried a slight tremor. "I saw and heard everything last night." I took out my phone and played the recording I had made the night before. The conversation between Lu Xian and Jiang Ruowei echoed through the restaurant, every word like a knife stabbing into Lu Xian's heart. When the recording ended, the restaurant fell into dead silence. Jiang Ruowei was trembling all over with fear, hiding behind Lu Xian. Lu Xian's face was ashen, his hands gripping the armrests of the wheelchair so tightly that his knuckles turned white. "Su Yang, let me explain." "No need for explanations." I cut him off, took a divorce agreement out of my bag and placed it in front of him. "Sign it." Lu Xian stared at the divorce agreement, stunned for a moment, then suddenly laughed. Su-Yang, don't be ridiculous. I know you're angry and I apologize, but we have so many years of history. How can you just throw it away with a divorce? History, I sneered. Lu Zian, is there any real history between us? You've only ever used me and all I feel for you now is disgust. I know I was wrong, I shouldn't have lied to you. Lu Zian lowered his stance, his tone tinged with pleading. But I had my reasons. After my car accident back then, the company was almost seized by those old shareholders. If I hadn't pretended to be paralyzed, they would have kicked me out long ago. I did all of this for our future, for the sake of our future. I looked at him, my eyes full of mockery. You mean for the sake of yours and Jiang Ruowei's future, right? Weren't you just saying that once you get the patent, you'd divorce me and marry her? That was all said in anger. I said it on purpose for her to hear. Lu Zian quickly explained. My heart only has you in it. Ruowei is just my subordinate. There's nothing between her and me. Lu Zian, have you no shame? Jiang Ruowei jumped up from her chair when she heard this. That's not what you said to me last night. You said you loved me and wanted to marry me. Shut up. Lu Zian barked harshly. This has nothing to do with you. Get out. I'm not leaving. Jiang Ruowei sobbed. Lu Zian, you can't treat me like this. I've sacrificed so much for you. How can you turn on me like this? Watching them tear at each other like dogs, I found it utterly ridiculous. All right, stop the act. I stood up and grabbed my bag. I'm leaving the divorce papers here. You'd better sign them as soon as possible, otherwise I'll file for divorce in court. When I do, I'll submit all the evidence to the court and let everyone see exactly what kind of person you are. Lu Zian. Su-Yang, how dare you? Lu Zian suddenly stood up from his wheelchair, pointing at me and roaring. That action completely exposed him. Butler Qin and Jiang Ruowei were both stunned. Jiang Ruowei even forgot to cry, staring blankly at Lu Zian standing there. I looked at him, a mocking smile curling on my lips. Looks like your legs have recovered quite well, Lu Zian. Aren't you tired of pretending to be paralyzed for 5 years? Only then did Lu Zian realize he had lost control. His face changed, and he tried to sit back in the wheelchair. Stop pretending, I said coldly. I've had enough of your performance. From today on I won't take care of you, and I won't do anything more for Starmax Medical. We are completely finished. With that, I turned and left. Su-Yang, stop right there. Lu Zian roared behind me. If you dare leave, I'll make sure you can't work in this industry again. I paused, looked back at him, my eyes icy cold. Lu Zian, we'll see about that. Let's find out who ends up being the one who can't work in this industry. Then I walked out of the dining room without looking back. At the entrance, I turned to Butler Qin and said, Uncle Qin, could you please send the things in the guest room to this address for me? Thank you. I left a slip of paper with the address on the cabinet at the entrance, then grabbed my suitcase and walked out of Starmax Villa. The sunlight felt warm on my body. I took a deep breath and felt completely relaxed. The 5-year shackles were finally undone. Lu Zian, the game begins at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. The Starmax Medical Board meeting was held on time. I didn't go to the company. Instead, I stayed home packing. My phone kept ringing, all calls from colleagues at the company. I knew Lu Zian must have made a move at the board meeting. Sure enough, around 10 o'clock, my assistant Xiao Lin called me, her voice choked with tears. Chief Su, it's bad. Mr. Lu announced at the board meeting that you've been removed from your position as R&D director, and is putting Jiang Ruowei in charge of the neural repair device project. I had expected this. Lu Zian was an arrogant and controlling man. He must have thought that without him I was nothing. He thought that by kicking me out of the company, he could take sole credit for the neural repair device. I see, I said calmly. Xiao Lin, notify all the R&D colleagues to gather at the cafe downstairs in half an hour. I have something to announce. Okay, President Su. After hanging up, I changed into professional attire and drove to the company. As I walked into the Singmai Medical Building, all the employees looked at me strangely. They all knew about what happened between Lu Zian and me, and they also knew that I had been relieved of my position. Some sympathized, some gloated, and others were waiting to see me make a fool of myself. Ignoring their stares, I walked straight to the boardroom. The door to the boardroom was ajar, and Lu Zian's smug voice came from inside. Esteemed board members, I announce that from today onward, Jiang Ruowei will serve as the lead manager of the neural repair device project. Director Jiang has many years of experience in the marketing department and is fully capable of leading the project team to achieve better results. Then came Jiang Ruowei's cloying voice. Thank you for your trust, President Lu, and thank you all for your support. I will work hard and live up to everyone's expectations. I pushed the door open and walked in. The boardroom fell silent. Instantly, everyone looked at me with surprise on their faces. Lu Xian's expression darkened when he saw me. Su Yang, what are you doing here? This is a board meeting, not a place for you. Why can't I be here? I walked to the conference table, pulled out a chair and sat down. I am a co-founder of Xingmai Medical. Holding 15% of the company's shares, I have the right to attend board meetings. Lu Xian's face grew even darker. You have already been removed from your position as R&D director and are no longer an executive of this company. I was only removed as R&D director, but my rights as a shareholder haven't been taken away. I looked at him with cold eyes. President Lu, did you just say that Jiang Ruowei will serve as the lead manager of the neural repair device project? That's right. Lu Xian said smugly. Director Jiang is highly capable and more suitable for this position than you, is that so? I smiled and turned to Jiang Ruowei. Director Jiang, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What is the core algorithm of the neural repair device? What are the most common adverse reactions in clinical trials? What electrode material are we currently using? Jiang Ruowei's face immediately changed. She stammered, well, I'm not entirely sure about that yet, but I'll learn gradually. Learn gradually. I sneered. Director Jiang, the neural repair device is our company's core product, critical to its survival. You can't even answer basic questions. How can you serve as the project lead? Is President Lu joking with the company's future like this? Jiang Ruowei's face turned bright red, and she lowered her head, not daring to speak. Lu Xian quickly tried to mediate. Su Yang, don't make things difficult for Ruowei. She's just taken over the project and isn't familiar with many things yet. Give her some time and she'll surely do well. Give her time. I looked at Lu Xian. Mr. Lu, have you considered that the market won't give us time? Our competitors are ramping up development of similar products. If we don't bring the neural repair device to market as soon as possible, we'll lose our first mover advantage. By then, the company will lose not just profits, but the entire market. I know all that, Lu Xian said impatiently, but I believe in Ruowei's abilities. She will definitely lead the team to get the job done. Your belief in her doesn't matter. I stood up and looked around at the board members. I want to ask all of you, are you willing to entrust the company's core product to someone who can't even answer basic technical questions? The board members exchanged uneasy glances, but no one spoke. I continued. The neural repair device took me 5 years to develop, from the initial concept design, to the prototype, to clinical trials. I personally participated in every step. I know this product better than anyone, and now, because of a personal grudge, Mr. Lu has kicked me off the project and handed it to someone who knows nothing about it. Isn't that just gambling with the company's future? Su Yang, stop making these alarmist statements. Lu Xian roared. Without you, Xingmai Medical will still run just fine. The neural repair device project will still succeed. Oh really? I looked at him, a mocking smile curling on my lips. Then I'm looking forward to seeing how this project can succeed without me. I took a document out of my bag and placed it on the conference table. Dear board members, this is my resignation letter. Effective today, I officially resign from all positions at Xingmai Medical. Then I pulled out another document. Additionally, I need to announce one more thing. The 23 core technical staff from the R&D department have collectively submitted their resignations to the company. They've decided to leave with me. These words exploded like a bomb in the conference room. The board members were stunned, all eyes turning to Lu Xian. His face was ashen. He shot to his feet, pointing at me. Su Yang, how dare you? You're undermining the company. I'm merely taking back what belongs to me, I said coldly. I trained every one of those technical staff. They answer to me, not you. Without them, your neural repair device project is nothing but scrap metal. Lu Xian was trembling with rage, unable to speak. I picked up my bag and said to the board members, I've said all I need to say. Take care of yourselves. Then I turned and walked out of the conference room. When I reached the company building, my colleagues from the R&D department were already waiting for me at the cafe. As soon as they saw me, they gathered around. President Su, we're all ready. President Su, we're going with you. That ungrateful Lu Xian, we've wanted to leave him for a long time. Seeing these colleagues who had worked with me for years, I was deeply moved. Thank you all. I took a deep breath. Starting today, we'll go independent. I promise you, within a year, we will create a product better than the nerve repair device and make Lu Xian regret his actions. Yes, my colleagues cheered in unison. The sun shone on us and everyone's face was full of hope. I looked up at the Xingmai Medical building, my gaze resolute. Lu Xian, just wait, this is only the beginning. I will make you realize that losing me is the biggest mistake of your life. I rented an office in the high-tech district with my R&D team and founded my own company, Yanqing Medical Technology Co. Limited. There were countless things to do in the early days. While decorating the office and handling various formalities, we also continued developing the second-generation nerve repair device, despite being extremely busy. Everyone was full of drive and determination. Right in the midst of our hectic work, Lu Ziyan's lawyer tracked me down. One afternoon, as I was discussing technical issues with the team, the front desk called to say a lawyer was there to see me. I asked them to bring him to the meeting room. The lawyer, surnamed Wang, was Lu Ziyan's standing legal counsel. When he saw me, he wore a faintly arrogant smile. Miss Su, hello, I am Mr. Lu Ziyan's lawyer, Wang Chong. Hello, Attorney Wang, I said calmly. May I ask, what brings Mr. Lu here? Wang took a document from his briefcase and placed it before me. Miss Su, this is a legal letter from Mr. Lu. He demands that within 3 days, you return all technical data and patent certificates for the nerve repair device to Xingmai Medical. Otherwise, he will sue you in court for infringing on the company's intellectual property. I picked up the legal letter, glanced at it and then smiled. Attorney Wang, go back and tell Lu Ziyan that he's overthinking things. The patent for the neural repair device is under my personal name, and I only authorized Starling Medical to use it. Now that I have left Starling Medical, I have the right to terminate the authorization. Miss Su, you can't say that. Lawyer Wang's expression darkened. The neural repair device was developed while you were working at Starling Medical, making it a service invention. The patent rights should belong to the company. A service invention? I sneered. Lawyer Wang, as an attorney, you should know the law better than I do. The core technology of the neural repair device was something I had already started researching during my university years. I have complete research records and papers to prove it. After joining Starling Medical, I simply made improvements based on the existing technology. Furthermore, the labor contract I signed with Starling Medical clearly states that my personal research results belong to me. Lawyer Wang's expression shifted slightly. He clearly hadn't known about that contract. Even so, he argued obstinately, during the development process, you used the company's funds and equipment, therefore the company should also share part of the patent rights. I used the company's funds and equipment, that's true. I nodded, but I also created tremendous value for the company. Over the past 5 years, I led the development of multiple products, bringing hundreds of millions in profit to the company. Moreover, I had a verbal agreement with Lu Ziyan that the patent for the neural repair device belongs to me personally. A verbal agreement doesn't count, Attorney Wang said. Without written evidence, the court will not recognize it. Oh really? I laughed, taking out a voice recorder from the drawer. Then what about this? I pressed the play button, and Lu Ziyan's voice came through. Yang, don't worry. The patent for the neural repair device is definitely yours. Once the company goes public, I'll give you shares and we'll build it up together, big and strong. This was what Lu Ziyan said to me 3 years ago when the neural repair device achieved a major breakthrough. I had been cautious back then and recorded it. Little did I know it would come in handy today. Lawyer Wang's expression completely changed. He hadn't expected me to have so much evidence. Lawyer Wang, I looked at him calmly. Go back and tell Lu Ziyan to stop wasting his effort. There's no way he's getting my patent. If he dares to sue me, I'll submit all the evidence to the court. In the end, the one who loses face will be him, not me. Lawyer Wang was silent for a moment, then stood up. Miss Su, I will convey your words to Mr. Lu, but let me remind you, Mr. Lu is not someone to be trifled with. You'd better think carefully about the consequences. I have already thought it through very clearly, I said coldly. Don't bother seeing me out. Lawyer Wang picked up his bag and slunk away, watching his retreating figure. I gave a cold sneer. Lu Ziyan, did you really think a lawyer's letter would scare me? You're way too naive. Just then, Chen Mo called me. Chen Mo is my college classmate and is now a well-known intellectual property lawyer in the country. I had already told him about my situation, and he had been helping me with the legal matters. Yang, did Wang Chong come to see you just now? Chen Mo's voice came through. Yes, I said. He served me a lawyer's letter demanding that I hand over the patent. I knew Lu Ziyan would try this trick. Chen Mo said, don't worry, I've already looked into it. Your patent is completely legal and valid. Lu Ziyan has no right to demand a transfer. Moreover, the evidence you have is more than sufficient. Even if he sues, he won't win. I know, I said, but I'm worried Lu Ziyan won't let it go. That man stops at nothing to achieve his goals. I've already made preparations for you. Chen Mo said, "I've filed a patent protection application with the patent office to prevent Lu Ziyan from maliciously infringing on it. Additionally, I've reached out to several venture capital firms. For you, they're very interested in your project and willing to invest in your company." "Really, that's great," I said excitedly. "Our newly founded company's biggest shortage is funding. With venture capital we can speed up R&D and bring the product to market as soon as possible." "Of course it's true," Chen Mo said with a smile. "Have I ever lied to you? Tomorrow I'll bring them over for a meeting with you." "Okay, thank you, Chen Mo, don't mention it," Chen Mo said. "By the way, there's one more thing. I checked Lu Ziyan's rehabilitation records for you. He fully recovered 3 years ago. He's been bribing doctors at the hospital to falsify his rehab records and deceive everyone." My heart sank. 3 years ago, that meant he had been lying to me for a full 3 years. During those 3 years I wiped him down, fed him, did rehab exercises with him every day, taking care of him like a fool. Meanwhile, he was secretly cozying up to another woman, scheming about how to get rid of me. I gripped my phone tightly, nails digging deep into my palm. "Yang Yang, are you okay?" Chen Mo noticed something was wrong and asked with concern. "I'm fine." I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. "Thank you for telling me this. Chen Mo, help me gather evidence that Lu Ziyan faked his rehab records. I want him to pay for what he's done." "Okay, no problem," Chen Mo said. "Don't worry, I'll help you." After hanging up, I sat in my chair, unable to calm down for a long time. "Lu Ziyan, you are truly ruthless. You not only deceived my feelings but also stole my youth and talent. Did you think you could get away with everything? You were wrong. I'll make you understand the meaning of "you made your bed, now lie in it." I stood up, walked to the window and looked out at the bustling traffic. The sunlight streamed through the glass, warming my body. I took a deep breath and my gaze became resolute. "Lu Ziyan, just you wait. I will make you regret being born into this world." Half a month later, the International Medical Device Industry Summit was held in Shanghai. This was the highest-level event in the domestic medical device industry, attracting companies and experts from all over the world every year. Lu Ziyan had long viewed this summit as a stage to showcase Xingmai Medical's strength, planning to officially launch the neurorehabilitation device and build brand recognition. I also attended the summit with my team. Our booth was tucked away in an inconspicuous corner, but we still decorated it carefully, displaying a model of the second-generation neurorehabilitation device we were developing. On the first day of the summit, Lu Ziyan made a high-profile appearance with Jiang Ruowei and the Xingmai Medical team. Dressed in matching suits with Xingmai Medical pins on their chests, they walked through the venue, drawing everyone's attention. Jiang Ruowei wore a red evening gown, holding Lu Ziyan's arm with a smug smile on her face. She frequently glanced toward our booth, her eyes full of provocation. I ignored her and continued talking to the clients who came by to inquire. At 2:00 p.m., Xingmai Medical's exclusive product launch began. Lu Ziyan, as the keynote speaker, stepped onto the main stage. The audience was packed with media and industry professionals from around the world. Cameras flashed non-stop, and Lu Ziyan wore a confident smile. "Good afternoon, distinguished guests and members of the media." Lu Ziyan's voice boomed through the microphone across the venue. "I am Lu Ziyan, president of Xingmai Medical Technology Group. Today, I am truly honored to be here to unveil our company's independently developed latest product, the neurorehabilitation device." Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Lu Ziyan continued, "The neurorehabilitation device is a high-tech product that our company has spent 5 years and hundreds of millions in funding to develop. It uses electrical nerve stimulation to help paralyzed patients stand up again. This is a revolutionary technology that will completely transform the treatment of neurological diseases." As he spoke, he played a PowerPoint presentation showing the device's design, working principles and some clinical trial cases. "Here, I want to give a special thanks to our R&D team," Lu Ziyan said. "Without their hard work, the neurorehabilitation device would not be where it is today. Of course, the person I need to thank the most is myself. As the overall lead on this project, I have been involved in the R&D from the very beginning. Even during the 5 years I was paralyzed after my car accident, I never gave up. Lying on my hospital bed, I guided the team through the development. Finally, as the saying goes, hard work pays off. We succeeded." Even more enthusiastic applause filled the room. Many people were moved by Lu Ziyan's inspirational story, praising him as China's Stephen Hawking. Jiang Ruowei stood beneath the stage, a look of admiration on her face. applauding non-stop. Just then I walked onto the stage. The entire venue fell silent in an instant. Everyone looked at me with surprised expressions. When Lu Ziyan saw me, his face changed drastically. Su Yang, what are you doing here? This is no place for you. Security, escort her out. Mr. Lu, don't be so hasty. I looked at him, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. I just want to correct what you said earlier. What nonsense are you talking? Lu Ziyan shouted sternly. Security, get her off the stage now. 2 security guards rushed over, trying to pull me down. Wait, I said loudly. I am the true inventor of the neural repair device. I have something to say. The audience erupted in commotion. What, she's the real inventor? What's going on here? Didn't Lu Ziyan say he was the lead? I looked at the crowd and said in a loud voice, Dear guests, dear friends from the media, hello everyone. My name is Su Yang, and I am the original inventor of the neural repair device. Everything Lu Ziyan just said is false. He didn't develop the neural repair device. I did, little by little, over 5 years. You lie, Lu Ziyan roared. Su Yang, stop spreading rumors and confusing everyone. The neural repair device is the R&D achievement of Xingmai Medical. The patent belongs to the company. The patent belongs to the company. I laughed, took the patent certificate out of my bag, and held it up for everyone to see. Take a good look. This is the patent certificate for the neural repair device. The patent holder is me, Su Yang. As an individual, Lu Ziyan, you claim the patent rights belong to the company. What evidence do you have? Lu Ziyan's face turned pale and he was speechless. I continued, not only that, but what Lu Ziyan just said about guiding the team's R&D while he was paralyzed is also false. He was never paralyzed at all. He fully recovered 3 years ago. He's been putting on an act, deceiving everyone just to use me to help him develop products and stabilize the company. You're slandering me. Lu Ziyan trembled with rage. Su Yang, if you dare spout any more nonsense, I'll sue you for defamation. Sue me for defamation. I sneered. Fine, then I'll show everyone the evidence. I took out my phone and connected it to the conference hall's large screen first. I played the recording I had made at Starscape Villa. The conversation between Lu Ziyan and Jiang Ruowei rang out clearly across the entire venue. Once we fully transfer the patent for the neural repair device to the company, we can kick her out. She's still useful for these 5 years. Without her, the company's R&D can't proceed at all. She's such a fool. If it weren't for my car accident back then, the old shareholders would have taken over the company. I deliberately pretended to be paralyzed to make her work devotedly for me. After the recording ended, the entire hall fell into dead silence. Everyone was stunned. They had never imagined that Lu Ziyan could be such a person. Then I played the video of Lu Ziyan walking around in the villa. This was secretly sent to me by Steward Qin on the day I left the villa. Steward Qin had a change of heart and handed over all the evidence of Lu Ziyan faking his paralysis. In the video, Lu Ziyan walked back and forth in the living room, moving freely, nothing like a paralyzed person. After the video finished, the audience erupted. My God, so he was faking it. Disgusting. How could he take advantage of someone's feelings like that? How is such a person fit to be an entrepreneur? Lu Ziyan's face was as pale as paper. He stood on the stage, trembling all over, unable to utter a single word. Jiang Ruowei also turned pale with fear and tried to slip away unnoticed. I looked at Lu Ziyan with icy eyes. Lu Ziyan, is there anything else you want to say? Lu Ziyan raised his head, looked at me, and his eyes were filled with venom. Su Yang, you've ruined me. I won't let you get away with this. You ruined yourself, I said coldly. It was your own greed and selfishness that destroyed everything you had. Just then, several people stood up from the audience. Mr. Lu, I am the general manager of Kangtai Medical Devices. Our company has decided to suspend all cooperation with Xingmai Medical. I am the representative of Hengrui Pharmaceutical. We have also decided to terminate our cooperation. Our company as well. So are we. In that moment, 12 partners announced on the spot that they were suspending their cooperation with Xingmai Medical. Lu Ziyan watched this scene. His vision darkened, and he nearly fainted on the podium. Seeing this, Jiang Ruowei could no longer hold back and turned to run out of the venue. Watching Lu Ziyan's humiliated state, I felt no sympathy for him at all. He deserved every bit of it. I picked up my bag and walked off the podium. The audience applauded for me. One after another, many people gave me a thumbs up. President Su, you're amazing. President Su, we support you. President Su, our company would like to cooperate with you. I smiled and nodded to everyone in acknowledgement. As I stepped out of the venue, the sunlight fell warmly upon me. I took a deep breath and felt an immense sense of relief. Lu Zian, this is only the beginning of your nightmare. Chapter 6. The court's judgment. After the summit ended, Stellar Medical's stock price collapsed in just one day. The company's shares fell by 37%, wiping over $1 billion off its market value. 3 banks began calling in their loans, demanding full repayment within a month. Lu Zian was overwhelmed, trying to appease shareholders and banks while looking for ways to recover the losses. But the harder he struggled, the worse things got. Driven into a corner, he took me to court. He sued me for infringing on Stellar Medical's intellectual property, asking the court to rule that the patent for the neural repair device belonged to Stellar Medical and to order me to pay him 50 million yuan in economic damages. When the court summons arrived, I was in a meeting with my team discussing progress on the second-generation neural repair device. Ms. Su, what do we do? Lu Zian is actually suing us, Xiao Lin said worriedly. Don't be afraid, I replied calmly. We have enough evidence he can't win. I called Chen Mo and told him about the situation. I expected him to pull this move. Chen Mo said, don't worry, I've prepared thoroughly. This time I'm going to make him lose everything. On the day of the trial, the entrance to the courthouse was crowded with media reporters. Lu Zian arrived early with Jiang Ruowei and his legal team. He was dressed in a black suit, his face somber and looking noticeably haggard. Jiang Ruowei followed behind him, head lowered, avoiding the cameras. Chen Mo and I walked into the courthouse together. Reporters swarmed around us, eager for an interview. Ms. Su, how confident are you about the outcome of this case? Ms. Su, do you think Lu Zian will win? Ms. Su, is there anything you want to say to Lu Zian? I stopped, looked into the cameras and calmly said, I believe the law is just. I developed the neural repair device, so the patent right should belong to me. Lu Zian's actions have not only infringed on my legitimate rights but also violated business ethics. I am confident the court will deliver a fair judgment. With that, Chen Mo and I walked into the courtroom when the trial began. Lu Zian's lawyer spoke first, claiming that the neural repair device was a work-for-hire invention and that the patent right should belong to Starling Medical. He also alleged that when I left Starling Medical, I took the company's core technical data, causing significant financial losses. Then Chen Mo spoke on my behalf. He presented my RAND-D records from university, published papers, patent certificates, and the employment contract I signed with Starling Medical. He showed each document to the judge as evidence that the core technology behind the neural repair device had already been developed before I joined Starling Medical, and therefore was not a work-for-hire invention. Next, Chen Mo produced the recordings of Lu Zian and me, along with the video of Lu Zian faking paralysis. He showed the judge that Lu Zian had been deceiving me all along, using my emotions and talents for his own gain. Your Honor, Chen Mo said, my client Ms. Su Yang gave up the opportunity to study abroad in order to help Mr. Lu Zian, and took meticulous care of him for 5 years. She devoted all her youth and talent to Starmax Medical. Yet Mr. Lu Zian, instead of showing gratitude, repaid her kindness with enmity and attempted to seize her scientific research achievements. Such conduct is not only immoral but also unlawful. We respectfully request the court to reject the plaintiff's claims in accordance with the law and protect my client's legitimate rights and interests. Lu Zian's lawyer tried to argue back but had no solid evidence. Lu Zian, sitting at the plaintiff's table, looked increasingly grim. He glared at me with eyes full of malice and resentment. The trial lasted 3 hours. Finally, the judge adjourned the court and set another date for the ruling. As I walked out of the courthouse, Lu Zian blocked my way. So what if you won? He snarled. Even if you get the patent without my company, you'll never bring the product to market. Is that so? I looked at him with a cold smile. Then let's just wait and see who has the last laugh. Just you wait. Lu Zian gritted his teeth. I won't let you have it easy. With that he stormed off with Jiang Ruowei watching his back. I sneered. Lu Zian, you've run out of chances. A week later the court reconvened. The judge announced the ruling. This court finds that the plaintiff, Starmax Medical Technology Group, has insufficient evidence to support its claim that the neural repair device was a work-for-hire, and thus the claim is rejected. The evidence submitted by the defendant Ms. Su Yang is sufficient to prove that the core technology of the neural repair device was developed by her personally, in accordance with Articles 6 and 8 of the Patent Law of the People's Republic of China. The court rules as follows. All claims of the plaintiff, Starmax Medical Technology Group, are dismissed. The court costs shall be borne by the plaintiff. At that moment I breathed a sigh of relief. Chen Mo patted my shoulder and smiled. Yang Yang, we won. Reporters swarmed around. Cameras flashing. MS Su, congratulations on your victory. MS Su, what are your plans now? I looked into the cameras and smiled. Next, I will focus on developing the second-generation neural repair device. I want to bring the product to market as soon as possible to help more paralyzed patients. At the same time, I reserve the right to pursue legal action against Mr. Lu Zian. With that, Chen Mo and I walked out of the courthouse. The sunlight felt warm on my skin. I looked up at the sky, clear blue. Cloudless. 5 years of grievance and frustration finally vanished at that moment. Lu Zian, you lost, and this is only the beginning. I'll show you what utter defeat really means. Chapter 7: The Hacker's Backlash. After the court ruling, StarMax Medical's situation worsened. The stock price continued to plummet. Falling below the offering price, many employees resigned, leaving the company with less than half its staff. Banks hounded them for debt, and shareholders demanded to withdraw their capital. Lu Zian was overwhelmed, scrambling to borrow money every day. But no one was willing to help. Desperate, he resorted to a dirty trick. He hired a hacker to attack my company's servers and steal the technical data of the second-generation neural repair device. That night, I was working overtime with my team, debugging the prototype of the second-generation device. Suddenly, all the computers went black. What's going on? Lin exclaimed in panic. Why are all the computers dead? Oh no, I thought, startled. We're under a cyber attack. I rushed to the server room to check the situation. Sure enough, the servers were under intense attack. The hacker was trying to crack the server password and steal the data inside. Su, what do we do? All our technical data is on the servers. One technician said anxiously. Don't panic, I said calmly. I knew Lu Zian would pull something like this, so I was already prepared. Activate the backup server and disconnect the main server from the network. The technician followed my instructions immediately. I opened my computer and started tracing the hacker's IP address. I had minored in computer science in college and knew a lot about cybersecurity. Plus, I had already hired a professional cybersecurity team to build a strong firewall for our servers. The hackers attacked fiercely, but our firewall was stronger. They tried for over an hour but couldn't break through. Just then I successfully traced their IP address. Found it, I said excitedly. The IP address is from an internet cafe in the city center. I immediately called the police. They arrived quickly. I handed over the hacker's IP address and attack logs to the police. They acted at once and rushed to the internet cafe. Half an hour later, the police called back, saying they had arrested the two hackers. Chen Mo and I went to the police station together. Both hackers were young, in their 20s, and looked terrified. Under police questioning, they confessed everything quickly. Lu Zian hired us, one hacker said. He gave us 100,000 yuan to attack Yanqing Medical's servers and steal their technical data. He said if we succeeded, he'd give us another 400,000 yuan. The police also found chat logs and transaction records between Lu Zian and them on their computers. The evidence was solid. Lu Zian can't escape this time, Chen Mo said. He's suspected of corporate espionage. He's looking at least 3 years in prison. I nodded, feeling no sympathy whatsoever. He brought this on himself. The next day, the police launched a commercial crime investigation into Xingmai Medical. They searched Xingmai Medical's offices and seized a large number of documents and computers. Lu Zian was summoned by the police for questioning. The media soon reported on the incident. Lu Zian, president of Xingmai Medical, under police investigation for allegedly hiring hackers to steal trade secrets. Former medical device giant now behind bars. Lu Zian's business empire on the verge of collapse. Overnight, Lu Zian became public enemy number 1. Xingmai Medical's stock price plummeted again, down to just a few cents per share. Banks applied to the court for asset preservation, freezing all of Xingmai Medical's assets. Shareholders filed lawsuits one after another, demanding Lu Zian compensate them for their losses. Lu Zian was completely cornered. Seeing that Lu Zian's situation was hopeless, Jiang Ruowei started planning for herself. She secretly transferred the remaining funds from Xingmai Medical's accounts and prepared to flee, but she didn't realize that her every move was under police surveillance. Just as she was about to board a flight out of Shanghai, she was arrested. After her arrest, Jiang Ruowei, hoping for leniency, voluntarily confessed to many of Lu Zian's crimes, including embezzlement, tax evasion, commercial fraud, and more. The evidence against Lu Xian kept mounting. I stood by the office window looking out at the bustling traffic below. Lu Xian, you've finally reached this point. You chose this path yourself. Whatever you did to me back then is now being returned to you. I took a deep breath, turned back to my desk and continued working. There was still so much to do. The development of the second-generation neural repair device was in its final stages. Next month, we would exhibit at the Shanghai International Medical Device Fair and officially launch the new device. I wanted everyone to know that without Lu Xian, Su Yang could still succeed and I would do it even better than him. A month later, the Shanghai International Medical Equipment Fair opened as scheduled. This is the largest medical equipment expo in Asia, attracting over 3,000 exhibitors from more than 100 countries and regions around the world. I brought my team and rented the largest booth at the fair. We meticulously arranged the booth, showcasing the prototype of the second-generation nerve repair device along with clinical trial data. On the opening day, our booth was packed with people. Many came specifically for the nerve repair device, having heard the story about me and Lu Xian. They wanted to see this miraculous product with their own eyes. I personally introduced the functions and features of the second-generation nerve repair device to the audience. Building on the first generation, the second-generation device has undergone comprehensive upgrades, I said, pointing at the prototype. It is smaller, lighter, and more convenient to wear. Moreover, its therapeutic efficacy has improved by 60% and the treatment time has been cut in half. Most importantly, its price is only two-thirds that of the first generation, making it affordable for more patients. I also played several videos from clinical trials. In the videos, patients who had been paralyzed for years were able to stand up and walk again after using the second-generation nerve repair device. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Amazing! This is a medical miracle. Ms. Su, when will your product be available? We expect to officially launch it at the end of this year, I said with a smile. Pre-orders are now being accepted. Just then a commotion rippled through the crowd. I looked up and saw Lu Xian approaching with several people. He looked much haggard, his hair noticeably grayer, and his eyes had lost their former luster. Behind him followed a few employees from Xingmai Medical holding some brochures. It turned out Lu Xian was also attending the expo. He had launched a knockoff version of the nerve repair device, aiming to seize market share. Lu Xian walked up to my booth, looked at me with eyes full of malice and said, Su Yang, don't get too cocky. I've launched my own nerve repair device too at half your price. Let's see who will buy your product. I looked at him, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. President Lu, you've also launched a nerve repair device. I wasn't aware of that. Where did your technology come from? It couldn't have been stolen, could it? Lu Xian's face changed. Nonsense, this was independently developed by our company. Independently developed? I laughed. Mr. Lu, you don't even understand the basic principles of the first-generation neural repair device. How could you have independently developed the second generation? Don't fool yourself. Your so-called neural repair device is nothing but a knockoff of my first-generation product. And you've cut corners. There's no guarantee of quality. You're slandering me, Lu Xian roared. My product has better quality than yours, and it's cheaper. Everyone will buy my product. Really? I looked at him. Then let's have a comparison. Let everyone see whose product is better. I had my technicians bring out our second-generation neural repair device and place it next to Lu Xian's knockoff. Everyone, take a look, I said, pointing at the two products. This is our second-generation neural repair device, and this is Mr. Lu's product. In terms of appearance, our device is more compact and elegant, and more comfortable to wear. In terms of performance, our device improves treatment efficacy by 60% and cuts treatment time in half. Mr. Lu's product, on the other hand, merely crudely mimics our first-generation device with no performance improvements whatsoever. Moreover, his product uses inferior materials, so safety is not guaranteed. I also brought out a report from a third-party testing agency and showed it to everyone. The report indicated that Lu Xian's knockoff neural repair device had serious safety risks that could potentially harm patients. After reading the report, everyone shook their heads in disapproval. So his products are knockoffs? That's too dangerous. Who would dare buy them? Manager Su's products are much more reliable. Lu Xian's face turned pale. He never expected me to produce a testing report. This is fake, Lu Xian said furiously. You fabricated it, I sneered. This report was issued by the National Medical Device Quality Supervision and Testing Center and has legal effect, Mr. Liu. If you don't believe me, you can verify it yourself. Liu Ziyan was left speechless. Just then, several people in uniform walked over. Mr. Liu Ziyan, we are from the Market Supervision and Administration Bureau, one of them said, showing an ID. Someone has reported you for selling counterfeit and shoddy medical devices. Please come with us for an investigation. Liu Ziyan's face turned deathly pale. He tried to flee but was stopped by the bureau staff. What are you doing? Let go of me. Liu Ziyan struggled and shouted, Mr. Liu, please cooperate with our work. The officer said coldly. Then they took Liu Ziyan and his counterfeit products away. Watching Liu Ziyan being taken away, I felt not a single ripple in my heart. He deserved it all. After Liu Ziyan was taken away, his booth was also sealed off by the Market Supervision Administration. Many distributors who had originally planned to cooperate with him turned to us instead. That very afternoon we signed deals worth 1.2 billion yuan. Over the following days our booth remained packed with visitors. In total we secured over 3 billion yuan in orders, becoming the biggest winner of this expo. After the expo ended, Yanqing Medical's reputation spread across the entire industry. Numerous venture capital firms came knocking, eager to invest in us. We ultimately chose a well-established investment firm and secured 500 million yuan in series of funding. The company's valuation reached 5 billion yuan. I stood by the office window, gazing at the city's nightscape. The lights were dazzling, the traffic endless. Finally, through my own efforts, I had achieved success. Liu Ziyan, are you watching? Without you, I am doing better than ever. After Liu Ziyan was taken away by the Market Supervision Administration, he was fined 2 million yuan and banned from engaging in the medical device industry for 3 years. Xingmai Medical completely collapsed. The company had no products, no funds, no employees, leaving only an empty shell. The bank applied to the court for compulsory enforcement to auction off Xingmai Medical's assets. The shareholders suffered heavy losses and harbored deep hatred for Liu Ziyan. Under these circumstances, several major shareholders of Xingmai Medical banded together and demanded an emergency board meeting to remove Liu Ziyan from his position as president. Upon receiving the notice, Liu Ziyan became furious. He refused to attend the board meeting and threatened that anyone who dared to remove him would regret it. But the shareholders had had enough of him. They ignored his threats and insisted on holding the board meeting. I also received an invitation as the second largest shareholder of Xingmai Medical, holding 15% of the company's shares. I had the right to attend the board meeting. On the day of the meeting, I went to Xingmai Medical with Chen Mo. The building was deserted, covered in dust and trash. The once great medical device giant had fallen into disrepair. In the conference room, several major shareholders were seated. When they saw me, they all stood up and greeted me. MS Su, you're here. MS Su, long time no see. MS Su, thanks to you this time, we were able to see Liu Ziyan's true colors. I smiled and shook hands with each of them. As the meeting began, the chairman spoke first. He summarized the current state of Xingmai Medical and then proposed the motion to remove Liu Ziyan from the presidency. Dear shareholders, the chairman said, during Mr. Liu Ziyan's tenure as president, his poor management and erroneous decisions caused huge economic losses to the company. Moreover, he is suspected of illegal activities such as commercial fraud and hiring hackers to steal trade secrets, which have severely damaged the company's reputation. For the future of the company, I propose that Mr. Liu Ziyan be removed from the position of president. The shareholders then voted. The final result, unanimous approval. Liu Ziyan was officially removed from the presidency of Xingmai Medical. Just then, the conference room door was forcefully pushed open. Liu Ziyan rushed in, his face contorted with rage and his eyes wild. You can't remove me. I'm the founder of this company. Without me there is no Xingmai Medical. Liu Ziyan, calm down. The chairman said, this is the decision of all the shareholders. You are no longer fit to serve as president. I will not accept it. Liu Ziyan roared, you ungrateful bastards, if it weren't for me, would you be where you are today? Now that the company is in trouble, you want to kick me out? No way. Liu Ziyan, you have some nerve saying that. A shareholder stood up and said, the company is in this mess today because of you. For your own selfish gain, you deceived President Su and seized her research results. You hired hackers to steal trade secrets and committed illegal acts. You squandered all the company's money and caused us huge losses. Not suing you is already the height of mercy. Exactly, another shareholder said. Pack your things and get out. Stop making a fool of yourself here. I'm not leaving. Lu Ziyan said hysterically. This is my company, no one is going to drive me away. With that, he rushed toward the chairman, intending to strike him. The security guards immediately rushed over and stopped him. Get him out of here, the chairman ordered sternly. The guards grabbed Lu Ziyan and dragged him out of the conference room. Let go of me, let go of me. Lu Ziyan struggled and roared. Su Yang, you won't get away with this, I'll haunt you even as a ghost. His voice grew fainter and eventually faded away down the corridor. The conference room fell silent. The chairman sighed. Well, the matter is settled. Next, let's discuss the future of the company. One shareholder said, Chairman, the company now has no assets left and no business. I think we should apply for bankruptcy liquidation. The other shareholders nodded in agreement. Just then I spoke up. Fellow shareholders, I have a proposal. Everyone turned to look at me. I know that Stellar Medical has now reached a dead end, I said, but after all we founded Stellar Medical together, and we all have an emotional attachment to it. Moreover, Stellar Medical still possesses some valuable resources, such as medical device manufacturing licenses, pharmaceutical trading licenses and so on. It would be such a shame to simply liquidate and go bankrupt now. Mr. Su, what do you mean? The chairman asked, puzzled. I want to acquire Xingmai Medical, I said. I am willing to invest 100 million yuan to acquire all the shares of Xingmai Medical. After the acquisition, I will turn Xingmai Medical into a subsidiary of Yanqing Medical, using its production qualifications and channels to expand our production scale. The shareholders were stunned. They hadn't expected that I would be willing to acquire Xingmai Medical. Mr. Su, are you really willing to acquire Xingmai Medical? One shareholder asked incredulously. Yes, I nodded. I've already discussed it with my team. This benefits both sides. You can get back part of your investment and we can gain access to Xingmai Medical's resources. The shareholders looked at each other, all with delighted expressions. They had originally thought their investments were completely lost. They hadn't expected that I would be willing to fund the acquisition. I agree too. That's great, thank you, Mr. Su. The shareholders all expressed their approval. In the end, we reached an agreement. I acquired all the shares of Xingmai Medical at a price of 100 million yuan. As I walked out of Xingmai Medical building, the sunlight fell upon me. I turned back to look at the building that had once broken my heart, a tumult of emotions surging within me. 5 years ago, I started my dream here. 5 years later, I have returned, only this time I am the master. Lu Ziyan, you lose completely. After acquiring Xingmai Medical, I began integrating the resources of both companies. I remodeled Xingmai Medical's production workshop to manufacture the second-generation neural repair device. At the same time, I retained Xingmai Medical's sales channels, expanding our market share. Everything progressed steadily and orderly. Just then, Steward Qin found me that afternoon while I was processing documents in my office. The front desk called to say an elderly gentleman surnamed Qin was looking for me. I knew it was Steward Qin. I asked the front desk to escort him to the reception room. When Steward Qin walked into the reception room, I saw that he had aged greatly. His hair had turned completely white, his back was hunched, and he walked unsteadily. Upon seeing me, his face showed an expression of guilt. Miss Su, I'm sorry, Uncle Qin, please sit down, I said calmly, pouring him a cup of tea. Steward Qin sat down, holding the teacup in both hands, remaining silent for a long time. After a long while he looked up at me, tears in his eyes. Miss Su, I've let you down. For the past 5 years I've been hiding the truth for Ziyan. I knew he had recovered long ago, but I never told you. I've wronged you. I know, I understand, I said. You have no choice either. You watched Lu Ziyan grow up and you're fond of him. No, that's not it. Butler Qin shook his head. I'm not without a choice. I was deceived by him. He said he was pretending to be paralyzed to protect the company. Once the company stabilized, he would marry you and treat you well. I believed him, so I helped him keep up the act. But I never imagined he would be so ungrateful. He deceived not only you but me as well. Butler Qin sighed and began to recount the truth of the matter. It turned out that after Lu Ziyan's car accident, although his injuries were severe, he was not paralyzed. After 6 months of treatment in the hospital, he had largely recovered, but just as he was about to be discharged, several of the company's old shareholders banded together to seize control. They argued that Lu Ziyan was in poor health, unfit to continue as president, and demanded he step aside. Unwilling to lose the company like that, he came up with an idea to feign paralysis. He bribed the doctors, falsified rehabilitation records, and told everyone he was permanently paralyzed. Then he came to me, exploiting my feelings for him to keep me by his side and help run the company. He's the only one who can help you, he said. Butler Chin said, you studied medical device. Randy, you're capable and you're loyal to him. With you there, those old shareholders wouldn't dare act rashly. I listened quietly, feeling not the slightest ripple in my heart. I had already guessed all of this. At first I thought he truly liked you. Butler Chin continued, every day. He told me that once the company was stable he would marry you. I was happy for both of you, but then Jiang Ruowei arrived. Jiang Ruowei joined Starvale Medical 3 years ago. She was young, beautiful, and ambitious. Soon enough, she and Lu Zian got together. Lu Zian was enchanted by Jiang Ruowei. He began plotting to kick me out and marry Jiang Ruowei once he secured the patent for the neural repair device. I advised him so many times, the housekeeper Chin said. I told him, Miss Su is a good woman. You can't treat her like this, but he wouldn't listen. He said you were just his tool. Once he got the patent, you'd be worthless to him. Tears streamed down housekeeper Chin's face. Miss Su, I truly regret it. If I had told you the truth back then, you wouldn't have suffered so much. It's all my fault. Uncle Chin, don't blame yourself. I comforted him. If anyone is to blame, it's Lu Zian for his greed and selfishness. No, it is all my fault. Housekeeper Chin shook his head. I realized my mistake. That's why, on the day you left the villa, I handed over all the evidence that Lu Zian was faking his paralysis. I wanted to make up for my wrongdoing. Thank you, Uncle Chin, I said. If it weren't for the evidence you gave me, I wouldn't have beaten Lu Zian so quickly. It was the least I could do, Housekeeper Chin said. Miss Su, there's one more reason I came to see you today. I wanted to tell you that Jiang Ruowei has run off with the last 20 million yuan of Starvale Medical's funds. I was stunned. When did this happen? The very day Lu Zian was removed from his position as president, Housekeeper Chin said. Jiang Ruowei saw that Lu Zian's situation was hopeless, so she secretly transferred 20 million yuan from the company's accounts and flew abroad. When Lu Zian found out, he was so furious he nearly passed out. Now he's penniless and deeply in debt. I gave a cold laugh. This was truly karma. Lu Zian thought Jiang Ruowei truly loved him, but she had only been after his money. Once he had none, she abandoned him without hesitation and took what little he had left. This was his retribution for betraying me. Miss Su, Housekeeper Chin looked at me, his eyes full of pleading. I know you hate Xian, but he has already received his due punishment. His reputation is ruined and he has nothing left. Can you show him mercy? I looked at Housekeeper Chin and said calmly, Uncle Chin, I never intended to utterly destroy him. He brought himself to this point, step by step. He must bear the consequences of everything he has done. By not pressing charges against him, I have already been more than merciful. Housekeeper Chin sighed. I know he deserves it. He stood up and bowed to me. Thank you, Miss Su. I'll go now. I won't bother you again. With that he turned and walked out of the reception room. Watching his aged back, a mix of emotions welled up inside me. Look at yourself, Lu Zian. You betrayed the one who loved you most, all for money and power. You thought you had gained everything. But in the end, you have nothing. Your company is gone, your money is gone, your woman has run away. You are abandoned by all, alone and miserable. This is your retribution. A few days after Butler Chin left, I heard news about Lu Zian. He had fallen into heavy debt and was being hounded by creditors from place to place. He sold his villa and his car, but it still wasn't enough to pay off what he owed. In the end, he could only live in a shabby rental room, scraping by with odd jobs. The once arrogant and overbearing Mr. Lu had fallen to such a state. It was truly lamentable. But I feel no sympathy for him. He brought it all upon himself. That afternoon, after a meeting, I walked out of the company building. Suddenly, someone rushed over and knelt before me. Startled, I looked closely and saw that it was Lu Zian. He was wearing a tattered t-shirt and jeans. His hair was a mess and his face was covered in grime. His eyes were cloudy and he looked utterly haggard. Yang Yang, please save me. Lu Zian grabbed my legs and cried. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Forgive me. Okay, can we start over? I frowned and tried to pull my leg free, but he held it tightly. Lu Zian, let go of me, I said coldly. I won't let go. Lu Zian sobbed. Yang Yang, I know I've wronged you. I shouldn't have lied to you or betrayed you, but I do love you. My relationship with Jiang Ruowei was just for fun. The one I truly love in my heart is you. Please give me another chance, okay? I'll treat you well. Love me. I sneered. Lu Zian, stop fooling yourself. You don't love me. You love the benefits I can bring you. You faked being paralyzed back then to use my skills and help you keep your company. Now you're kneeling in front of me begging because you're out of options and want me to help pay off your debts. That's not true, not at all, Lu Ziyan said hurriedly. Yang Yang, I truly love you. Only after losing you did I realize how important you are to me. Without you, I'm nothing. Please give me one more chance. I am willing to do anything for you. Anything for me. I looked at him, a mocking smile curling on my lips. Alright then, first, calculate the cost of taking care of you for these 5 years. 5 years, 825 days. I cleaned you, fed you, did rehab training with you every day. Let's say 500 yuan per day. That comes to 912,500 yuan. Add the full scholarship from MIT I gave up for you. $50,000 a year. 5 years makes $250,000, which is 175 million yuan in renminbi. Plus the compensation for the products I developed for Xingmai Medical, by industry standards, at least 5 million yuan. That totals 7,662,500 yuan. Pay me back first, then we'll talk about anything else. Lu Ziyan's face instantly changed. Where would he ever get that kind of money? Yang Yang, I don't have that kind of money now, Lu Ziyan said pitifully. But I'll earn it in the future. I swear I'll pay you back. You have to believe me. I don't believe you, I said coldly. Lu Ziyan, you've already deceived me once. I won't believe another word you say. Yang Yang, please. Lu Ziyan continued, crying. Those creditors hound me for money every day. I really can't go on if you won't help me. The only way out is death. That's your problem, not mine. I yanked my leg free. Lu Ziyan, we ended long ago. Stop pestering me. With that I turned and walked away. Su Yang, he roared behind me, don't be so heartless. I was so good to you back then. How can you treat me like this? I stopped, turned back and looked at him with icy eyes. You were good to me, Lu Ziyan. Search your conscience. Were you ever good to me? You lied to me for 5 years, used me for 5 years. You treated me like a tool, a slave. Of all the things you did to me, which one was for my good? From my bag I took out a stack of photos and threw them in his face. The photos documented every detail of how I had cared for him over those 5 years, me wiping him down, me feeding him, me doing rehab exercises with him, me working late at the office. Take a good look at these, I said coldly. This is how I treated you for 5 years and this is how you treated me. Lu Ziyan, what you owe me you'll never repay in this lifetime. Lu Ziyan stared at the photos on the ground, stunned. Just then several police cars pulled up. Officers got out and walked over to Lu Ziyan. Lu Ziyan, we're from the Municipal Public Security Bureau. You are under arrest on suspicion of commercial fraud and embezzlement. Lu Ziyan's face turned as pale as paper. He looked at me, his eyes filled with despair and venom. Su Yang, did you call the police on me? Not me, I said calmly. It was Jiang Ruowei. After she was caught, she confessed to all your crimes. It turned out that Jiang Ruowei hadn't lasted long abroad before being apprehended by Interpol. After being extradited back to China, she had disclosed all of Lu Ziyan's crimes in hopes of leniency. The police handcuffed Lu Ziyan and led him away. As he walked, he kept looking back at me with bitter resentment, watching his back as he was taken away. I felt no ripple of emotion. It was all over. Lu Ziyan, you've finally gotten what you deserved. I took a deep breath, turned and walked into the company building. The sunlight fell warmly on me. At last, my life had turned to a new page. 1 year later, Yanqing Medical had become a leading enterprise in the domestic medical device industry. Our second-generation nerve repair device had successfully launched, helping tens of thousands of paralyzed patients stand up again. Our products were not only selling well domestically but were also exported to over 50 countries and regions worldwide. The company's valuation had reached 30 billion yuan, and I had become one of the youngest female entrepreneurs in the country. That evening, we held a celebration banquet at the company to mark the first anniversary of its founding and to celebrate the sales of the second-generation neural repair device exceeding 100,000 units. Everyone was very happy at the banquet. Employees toasted each other, chatting and laughing. Chen Mo walked over to me and handed me a glass of champagne. Yang Yang, congratulations, you have succeeded. I took the champagne and said with a smile, thank you, Chen Mo. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. Don't thank me, Chen Mo said. This is all the result of your own hard work. You deserve all of this. Looking at the lively scene before me, a mix of emotions welled up inside. A year ago I was a woman who had been betrayed and hurt. I thought my life was ruined, but I didn't give up. Through my own efforts, I gradually stepped out of the shadows and created my own brilliance. Now I have my own company, my own career, and a group of supportive friends and employees. I am living a more wonderful life than ever before. Yang Yang. Chen Mo looked at me with tender eyes. Now that you've succeeded, have you ever thought about starting a new relationship? I smiled and shook my head. Not yet, I just want to focus on my career for now. I want to develop more and better products to help more patients. I understand, Chen Mo said, but whenever you're ready to start a new relationship, I'll always be here. I looked at Chen Mo, feeling a warmth in my heart. Over the past year, Chen Mo has been by my side. When I was going through my toughest times, he helped me, supported me, and encouraged me. I am very grateful to him, but I'm not ready to start a new relationship yet. I need time to heal from the pain of the past. Thank you, Chen Mo, I said halfway through the celebration banquet. I walked over to the floor-to-ceiling window. Outside was the city's night view, dazzling lights and bustling traffic. Gazing at the scene before me, my heart swelled with mixed emotions. 5 years of dedication had only brought betrayal and hurt, yet it was precisely that experience that made me stronger and more independent. I am no longer that young woman clinging to a man. I am now the president of Yanqing Medical, the master of my own life. Lu Ziyan has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. Behind bars, he has paid the price for his actions. Jiang Ruowei has also been sentenced to 5 years in prison. Starmy Medical has been fully integrated by me and now serves as the production base of Yanqing Medical. All grievances have come to an end. I took a deep breath, raised my glass of champagne and gently clinked it against the nightscape outside the window. To the past and to the future, to the once badly battered yet still resilient me, I believe my future will be even brighter because I know that as long as I don't give up and keep striving, nothing is impossible. Grow toward the sun, forge ahead fearlessly. This is the life of me, Su Yang.